Hi guys, it is small group time for this weekend, November 23rd and 24th. Before I get started into this week's activities, I just wanted to say a couple things. First, thank you so much for doing what you do. I do recognize that it is a sacrifice to be in service every weekend, and I really appreciate you guys, and many of you are so faithful, and you don't understand what it means to me personally. I know that I am called to a different layer here at Northridge because I do get a paycheck, but honestly, I hope that you guys know that that never means that I have a more important calling or anything, because you guys are the ones that are on the front line every week, being with the kids and working with the kids, and I really appreciate it. That being said, I have just been struggling a little bit lately, just being a little discouraged with just the amount of kids to every adult that we have. I'm so grateful that, like, this is an amazing problem. Like, we have a lot of kids, and so I never want to take that for granted, but I want more for our kids. And so if you have relationships with people who you feel like would be a great addition to our team, would you talk to them? At this point, I would be open to people who can maybe only come once a month. I don't think that's like the best case for helping our kids move forward, but I also recognize that we are kind of at a critical standpoint where to continue doing ministry and to be able to build relationships and to create small groups, we have to have physical people in the room who are able to lead kids, who care about kids, who want to do all of these things. And so it's hard for me because I want more for our kids. I want more for our ministry, and I feel like we are just on the struggle bus. And I don't know why we're in this season. And I do struggle with that myself as a leader. Like, maybe there's a lot of different things going on, but if you have people that you feel like would be a good fit, would you make the ask and see if they'd be willing to come test drive and see what we're all about? On the flip side of that, if you are part of our team, I need you to commit to being in ministry as much as possible when you have committed to be there. And so, of course, I do understand that life happens and that things come up, but you know when you're in the room and people just don't show or don't come, that it can be frustrating to those that are still there. So if you would do your best to either find a replacement for yourself or at least communicate before the day of that you're not going to be there, so that we can try to ask other people to step in, that would be so helpful, because our attendance is up the last month or so, and like this past Sunday, there was 140 kids in our classroom, and there was only, I think, 8 leaders. That it was really hard. It was a hard day. So that was at the 11 o'clock service. So if you could commit to being here when you have said you would, that would be great. And I know things like Glory of Christmas require extra commitment. But just remember, if you have committed to serve in Quest, please fulfill that commitment even through Glory of Christmas. Glory of Christmas is an extra thing. And trust me, I personally understand the tiredness of it all. I have been a part of Glory of Christmas now for, I think this is my 6th year. I've taken on a different role this year, which requires even more of my time. So I do understand, and I am tired on the weekends. But it needs to be a team effort. So all that to say, I hope you guys know I appreciate you very much, and please speak life into other people to come help our kids grow. On that note, this week we are continuing in our story of Abraham's family, and we are talking about when Jacob was tricked into marrying Leah instead of Rachel. Wait, is that the way the story goes? He ends up marrying both of them. So we'll find out more this weekend as Kelly brings us the truth. So a couple activities. So for your opening activity, everybody's going to have your whiteboard area, whiteboard areas. There's smaller whiteboards. And so the point is that each kid is going to get a turn to draw on the whiteboard. And they draw something that they would be willing to trade, or they would be willing to earn for 7 years of work. So you might have to prompt them a little bit on this, so kind of have some ideas going in your head about some things that you can do. But the point is to play like Pictionary. So on the piece of paper, or on the whiteboard, they will draw something, and the people, your group will be able to guess what they are drawing. So they think of something in their head they would be willing to work for 7 years. They draw it, the group guesses. So that's that first activity. A couple things. One, like I just said, be ready to prompt them with a few things. And two, make sure you remind them to draw bigger. When they tend to draw on the boards, they draw really small. Help them to draw bigger. But that can be a really fun activity. So that's for everybody for the first time. So everybody could hopefully get a turn with that. And then for post-large group, first grade, you guys have Bible skills and all of that review, and then you're going to play a game in your room with a bunch of wads of paper. Each child, you're going to split them into 2 teams. These are going to be the sheep, and you're going to give each team a different color, and they are actually going to fan the paper, and the more people, obviously the further it goes, to move the paper wad to the other side of the room. So this team over here is going to be pushing it this way, and this team's going to be pushing it this way. And at the end of your time, maybe you do it for 2 minutes, and then when the timer is up, whoever has more paper on their side loses. Yeah, you can keep playing that. So that's a fun game, and talk about how Jacob met Rachel while she was taking care of her father's sheep. For second and third grade, you guys are going to have a spinner, and so you can take turns spinning this, and whatever number you get it on when it's lying flat, you get it on number 2. It says, tell me something about yourself. And so there's tell me something silly, tell me something about yourself, tell me something you know about God, tell me something you'd like to know about God. So that's just a different way to kind of get involved with others, and just talking about telling others about God and what that looks like, and that God really calls us to share God's truth, His truth, with everyone around us. So be in prayer for that, and check out and read Genesis 29 through 31 as we continue our journey through the book of Genesis specifically. All right, I hope you guys have a great week. Please know I am praying for you, and I can't wait to serve with you this weekend. Have a great one.